It's a big mic right there.
Yes, sir. So, how today's practice go for you?
Oh, today was fun and exciting. Kind of had two practices. Had the walk-ons that came for an hour before our real practice so that they could learn some of our shooting drills and three-man weave that we do. And then they got a dry run, just a lot of our offensive scheme. So they're learning our motion and whatnot. And then once our team got done with weights, the walk-ons joined the whole group and had a great 90-minute practice. And I'm guessing those three are going to go take some ice baths right now.
Mark, you mentioned after Saturday's game that you typically don't have walk-ons on the roster. I know that this year is a unique circumstance, but is there an opportunity to reevaluate that moving forward?
Oh, yeah. Each season it's case by case, depending on your roster size. And so in women's basketball, you have up to 15 scholarships. And how you use those is tricky. Sometimes you want to, Haley Cavender pops up mid-year, and you want to be sitting on a scholarship to scoop up one of those players. And so it's case by case. Tell you what's really neat about these walk-ons is they're all freshmen and sophomores, and so they're going to be here next season. So it's kind of you're getting them in the family, and you get them for the back end of the season, and seeing if maybe they'd want to come back next year, and if it's something that could work. But you, as a coach, you got to always be able to adjust and adapt. And so I'm not set in stone in my ways. But right now, these young ladies have been phenomenal.
Were they on your radar at all? Had you?
No, not at all. They were not on the radar. We're just in year one. We haven't even hit 12 months yet. And so just inheriting the group that we did, adding the portal kids, the freshmen that signed with the old staff, you're just trying to get that whole puzzle sorted out. So we were not aware of any of these kids when we got hired.
But they have some pedigree, high school-wise at least.
Yeah, they again, I never saw them play in high school. Just as you get to know them, once we did the tryouts and you identified the kids that you thought were the best players, then there is also, you just got to make sure they fit our culture. And who are they? And what's their background? So it's been fun getting to know them and getting to sit down. And we've reached out to their high school coaches and just making sure it's a right fit off the court as well and in the locker room, because you spend so much time together between practices and weight room sessions, and then they're going to be on the road traveling with us and airplane flights and hotels. So they're truly a part of the family. So there's that element. You want to make sure it's the right fit.
Coach, is this one of the weirdest deals that kind of played out in your coaching career? How
it is incredibly unique. Yeah, and it's nothing that you wish upon anybody. The injury bug is happens every year. This is just more than normal, but it's life. Life will throw you curveballs, and you got to be able to adjust. And it's so good for these young people to realize you don't put your head down, you don't pout. Nobody feels sorry for us. You got to make the best of the hand that we're dealt. And so I've never had a season like this. Mid-year open tryouts to field the team, so you got 10 to practice. That's not normal. But our staff has done phenomenal navigating it, and these young ladies have been phenomenal, and they've welcomed the walk-ons with open arms.
How's the installation of the 5-out motion going?
Oh man, we're all learning this 5-out motion thing right now on the fly. It's been a blast. It really has to study it, something new. As our team is adjusting to this and in new roles and not having a true center, our staff has just dove into film and learning, and we're still learning and figuring out breakdown drills. So it's been challenging, but at the same time, it's been fun.
Are you surprised by the attention that this has created?
Yes. I don't think any of us saw this becoming a national story. At all. Nobody. I think admin, us, nobody saw it. But it's inspirational. All the movies, they're all about an underdog that overcame adversity. And that's the storyline that humans love to follow and they love to root for the underdog. And in some weird ways, unplanned, you've kind of become America's team. There's a really neat storyline. You had the 14-0 start with kind of the big name portal kids, and then there's these injuries and the tryouts, and all of a sudden you've truly become this massive underdog. And so we're embracing it because it's reality. It's what's unfolded. And then we came back and got a win after not being able to even practice 5-on-5. And so this is who we are. This is what we do, and we're running with it.
How does this movie end, Coach?
Well, gosh dang, I hope it ends in the NCAA tournament. But I hope it ends with us playing in a Final Four someday. There you have the journey of this season, but it's really inheriting a program that went 1-17, 8 wins overall. You're kind of at the ground floor, the BCS level, and can you restore it and build something special? And we came here to build one of the elite women's basketball programs in college basketball, and that doesn't happen overnight. I wish it did, but I hope the movie ends where we're playing in a Final Four someday.
Coach, you mentioned this a little bit after Saturday, but talk a little bit about how this experience has allowed the culture, not just of your program, but of the university to maybe shine through.
Absolutely. I think, number one, our own culture of just hard work, of showing up each day and doing your job at a high level. And the team has done that. But the university, I mean, this thing is truly a family environment. The admin has walked alongside us as we've navigated the open tryout situation, and they've been so supportive. It's a huge onboarding process from compliance to academics, and those groups of people have been incredible. And then Jason with volleyball, to allow Sarah to come help us and to do it, though, with just an incredible spirit. He was here at the tryouts. He sat courtside at our game. And then a whole bunch of coaches have reached out within our athletic department to just encourage us. But TCU is a special place, and it's that small, intimate environment where it's kind of all hands on deck. And so it starts with Jeremiah, and it trickles down. Kim oversees women's basketball, and she's been in the trenches with us, just helping us work through all this stuff. So I think the country kind of gets to see how special TCU is as a place.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach.
Go ahead.
Coach, going back to the offense a little bit, what was kind of the thought process as coaches to decide to switch to that offense?
Yeah, out of necessity. We're pick and roll based, and to be a good pick and roll team, you need a dynamic playmaking guard, and you need an elite center. And so Sedona Prince goes down, and Jaden Owens goes down, and Madison Connor goes down. Well, you got to adjust and pivot. And you got to play small ball. In this league, all these teams have big true centers. And so, well, how can you offset that? And the 5-out motion spreads you out and makes all those guys come out and guard you and have to chase you. And it's kind of an equalizer. And so it's just, you didn't know how long it's going to take for the kids to get comfortable. They did far better than I would have guessed in our first game. And playing Central Florida, that was the first time we played 5-on-5 live against anybody. We had, I think, 15 turnovers in the first half. And then the second half came out, I think we had 4 and played good ball. And so that's part of the growing pains, and we'll just keep trying to get better each game, study our film session, and keep chipping away.
Is it nice to have 5-on-5 today for practice?
Yes. That's how to get good, you got to compete, you got to play. Those 3 walk-ons that were here today did a phenomenal job competing. I'm telling you, it's not, you guys have to understand the whole context, big picture. These kids are not in basketball shape. I mean, they've just been walking around, going to class, eating Chick-fil-A, and we got Chicken Express right down the street. And all of a sudden, they're going full tilt with a group of athletes that's been training. They're about 8 months into this thing of full tilt training, and so it's been quite a journey, quite a process.
So this is a little bit of a pivot away. Coach Dixon has been banging the drum recently about changing the redshirting rules for college basketball to match what's happened over in college football over the last few years. So I just kind of want to get your thoughts on the redshirt rule in college basketball and if you'd change anything about it.
Yeah, because you play a minute, you can't redshirt. So there's no wiggle room. I wish we had, like football does, a grace period where kids can play for a certain percentage and can still shut it down if they need. But right now, with the way the redshirt rule is, there's zero margin for error. You check into a game, it's gone. So hopefully Coach Dixon's spot on, and hopefully basketball can adapt with that.
So, when the decision finally came, how did you realize we can't play like this?
Style of play or bodies?
No, the bodies. Going way back to when you had to make those tough decisions.
Yeah, well, from the Baylor game, Sedona was the first one. I mean, you've had little injuries all throughout the season, which is normal, but the trigger started with Sedona at the Baylor game. I mean, first pass after the jump ball on a Horns injury, fractures her finger, and that started the domino over the 2 weeks where you got down to 6 kids, and of those 6 kids, they weren't even all healthy. And so there was it was the next day. We have to do tryouts, and how quickly can we do that where even for tryouts, they have to sign their waivers, they have to get physicals at the health center, and so the health center has been incredible for us. But that pivot happened from we can't field the team, and the admin and the Big 12 forfeiting those 2 games. I mean, from that decision to pivot, how quick can we turn this around, get walk-on so we can start playing again?
Anything else for Coach? All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Good seeing you again.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
You bet. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate you.
Thanks all of you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
What a journey.
Yeah, the first year.